right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening as we launch into Diffit. Diffit is a platform that I've used a little bit, and I just want to get better myself and learn from the experts from Diffit. So I am so excited to have so many people here joining us tonight. And I wanted to introduce to you, we have Vlad here, the co-founder of Diffit, as well as Kathryn Greene, the content and community lead. So I'm going to bring them to stage now. Thank you guys so much for joining us today and going over Diffit with us. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
So let's just get a read of the room. In the comments here, if you guys can just tell us how familiar you are with Diffit. And so you don't have to use these exact emojis, but we would love to know, do you love using it? Are you a frequent user of it already? Is it on your list to explore and this is going to be your starting point? Or are you totally new and you're ready to be amazed? So let us know in the comments how you're feeling.
I know, it's so exciting to see Katie here. Hi, Katie. Oh my gosh, so many people.
All right. Carrie, yay. I'm glad you're using it and you talk it up at your elementary school. Thank you. So as people are adding their comments and how they're using this great tool, I want to not waste any time and I want to give the stage to Kathryn. So Kathryn's going to lead us through. Vlad is going to be looking at the comments and keeping us up to date with that. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Vlad will be here helping us out to answer them on the spot, and I'll be monitoring the chat as well. So Kathryn, if you're ready, I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much, Erin. And I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for all of you for sharing your time with me. I'm a former teacher myself. I taught for 8 years. So I know it's the back to school season. For those of you on the East Coast, it's real late. So thank you for joining us. And I love the comments so far from Hollis and Carrie and Katie about how you're sharing it with others. You're playing around with it. We've been launching lots of new updates. So every single week, it seems like you log on and there's something new. And I'm excited to share that with you now. So if you have never heard of Diffit before, what does Diffit actually do? Diffit can generate short informational or narrative texts for you using AI on pretty much any topic. And then you get to decide the reading level that you need the informational text to be adapted for. And so this is great for building background knowledge. It's great for creating worksheets for your students. It's great for bell ringers. There's so many different ways you can use this tool in order to get those short narrative and informational texts on any topic that you are learning about. And we're going to do it in real time in just a minute, but just an overview for those who don't know. You can also adapt any article. So it could be an article from a website, it can be a PDF, and it's going to adapt it to the reading level that you choose. And then you are also going to get lots of other resources that go with it. So when you do either the generated text or the adapted text, you're also going to get a summary, comprehension questions, vocabulary words with definitions and example sentences, and more to go with whatever text you're working with. So that's the basics of what it is. Let's go ahead and see how it actually works. So to get started, you go to diffit.me, and we're going to throw lots of links in the chat for you later on. You can always go back to it. Oh my gosh, I love how many people are saying they love Diffit. But let's start here with our literally anything tab. So like I said, it can generate a text for you using AI. I'm going to go ahead and have it explain how plants get the materials they need for growth. This is straight from the NGSS standards for grade 5. So I'm going to set it to a 5th grade level, generate resources. And you'll notice that it's going to take a little bit of time to generate that resource for you. But what I love is that we have these little tips here. We're always adding new tips as we get feedback and questions from teachers. We're adding them on here. I'm going to say hi to some people as well. Hi, Danita and Cami and Jill. Thank you all for being here. As we go through, you'll see that it's going to be able to take multiple websites to create a generated text. You're going to be able to see those sources as well. So I'm going to give it just a second more. Welcome. All right, so we have our resource. Now on future ones, I'm probably gonna go to already made ones so we don't have to watch that process every time. You notice that was fairly quick. And here is our adapted reading passage. Here I can click show sources and I can see the articles that it used in order to create this adapted text for my classroom at that grade 5 level that I asked it to. Now, as I go through, I told you it creates more than just a reading. It's gonna create a summary for you. Key vocabulary words, where it gives you the definition and example sentence. Multiple choice questions, where you can also see the answers. Short answer questions based on the reading, where you can also see some example answers, and some open-ended prompts that you can use for classroom discussion or to take the learning to the next level with your students. Now, those ones don't have example answers because our hope is that they are designed in a way that students have all sorts of different answers based on their own experience. So that is how it works when it generates a text just using AI. Now, we can export in a couple of ways and share in a couple of ways, but we're going to get back to that because I want to show you also how it can adapt an existing text. So that was our literally anything tab right here, where you give it the topic, you be as specific as you need to be, you tell it the grade level, and it's going to create that reading and the resources that go with it. But you can also give it an article. So I'm going to head over to my Google Doc to grab my link. Copy link. Oh, I have it actually right here. I'm going to copy my link right here from this Scientific America article that has way too many ads for my students, and it's probably at too high of a level for my students. I'm going to hop in, paste the URL, and let's go ahead and say that we want this for an 8th grade classroom, and I'll say generate resources. And again, it's going to take a little bit of time as it's adapting that resource to the grade level that you've decided for it. It will still create that summary, multiple choice questions, open-ended questions, short answer questions, and those, since it is using AI, we always want to make sure that teachers have the ability to go through and edit and change and revise if they need to. We know you're the expert in the classroom, so you have the opportunities, and I'll show you how in just a second, to go through and make sure that this is aligned to what your students need and what you are really trying to get them to learn based on your standards or learning objective. All right, so here we go. It's thinking. This has adapted that article for my 8th grade classroom. And here you'll see it's a little bit longer of a reading, but I can also, on the adapted texts, I can adjust that if I need to and make it a little bit shorter. So again, it's taking an existing article and adapting it to the grade level that I've asked it to adapt it to. And here it's going to just make a few changes to make it a slightly shorter reading for my students. I'm loving all the comments. Thank you so much, Katie and Cami. I love hearing that they're blown away. We love, love, love teacher feedback. So if you have feedback for it, throw it in the chat. Vlad's here, one of our co-founders, so he'll respond to it. All right, it's thinking. And now it is a slightly shorter reading. I can still click show sources. It'll show me that original website that I gave it, that for it to adapt to the grade level that I picked. We're still on 8th grade here. As I go through, I've got that summary. I've got those key vocabulary words with those definitions and examples, multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and those open-ended prompts. And there's one more way you can use this that I want to show you. And then we're going to go into how you can edit and change all this and export it to get it into your students' hands really quickly. So there's one more way you can use Diffit to adapt a text, and that's right here, any text or excerpt. So you can copy paste the text into this box, or you can upload a PDF. So I don't think you can see that it opened up my files there, but I'm going to upload a copy of the Declaration of Independence. And I'm going to go ahead and set it for a 6th grade classroom. Actually, no, I'm going to go with a 10th grade classroom, and I'm going to generate the resource just because we haven't done a high school one yet. Now, with all of these, again, you're able to go through and edit and adapt and make changes as you need to before you export it into a format that you can share with your students. And again, you'll see every single time it's creating that reading, whether it's adapting an existing article, adapting a PDF, or generating a reading using AI, it's going to create that summary, key vocabulary questions, short answer questions, multiple choice questions, and all of those you can tailor and fine tune to make sure that they're perfect for your students. And you'll see it works fairly quickly. It does give you those tips as we go through. It's thinking. The Declaration of Independence does have some rather challenging sentences here that it's working on. And here we go. We have our adapted reading passage ready to go for a 10th grade classroom. Like I said, I can adjust the length if I need to. And just like before, it's creating that summary for me. It's still loading the vocab and the multiple choice, but there they go. We've got our vocab, our multiple choice questions, our short answer questions, and our open-ended prompts all right here. So those are the three main ways it can create resources for you, either using existing texts or by using AI to generate a reading passage for your students at their grade level. So now we're going to talk about all the ways you can customize it and make it even more perfect and tailored to the students in your classroom, because we know every single classroom is different. I used to teach middle school. I taught middle school for 2 years. I taught high school for 6 years. And every single class period of the day was different. Every single bunch of students was different, and they all had very different needs. So being able to tweak and change it so it's perfect for those students is really important. So the first thing I want to show you is that you can just edit the text right here. You're able to go in and edit and type and make changes in every single part of the resource set. You can add to the summary. You can edit those definitions or those example sentences if you feel like you need to. Same with the multiple choice questions. You can go through and you can edit them as well. And then you click save before you either copy or export this out. But what I really love that you can do is that you can add more. So when we get to our vocabulary words and our questions, 5 vocabulary words might not be enough for your students. Maybe what you want is 10 of them. So I click add more. I say 5. I say generate. And it's going to take just a little bit of time here to create more vocabulary words, definitions, and sentences for me, for my students. And I can do the same thing with questions all the way down to our open-ended prompts. So now I have more vocabulary words that I can share with my students if that's one of the primary focuses for my class that day. With our questions, we can also go through and add different types of questions. So here, I'm going to go ahead and add some strategic thinking questions. I'm going to add 3 more of them, and I'm going to say generate, just because I want to make sure we're really getting students to that next level of thinking as they interact with this text. It's going to take a second to create those. I can do the same thing with my short answer questions as well. I can choose the type of question. Think about the Bloom's taxonomy here of what sort of question, what sort of reasoning and thinking you want your students to do with the text. You can add those on. Now, I want to take a quick check because I'm showing so many resources so quickly. Taking a quick look at the chat. How are we doing? Give me in 2 words, how do you feel about Diffit so far? In 2 words in the chat, tell me how you feel about Diffit. Right now, I'm excited and grateful because I get to be here and share this with you. But give me 2 words in the chat. How are you feeling in the comments? 2 words for what do you think about Diffit so far? Give me your 2 words for Diffit. I love emojis too. If you want to do 2 emojis, you can do that as well. But 2 words in the comments, in the chat. How you feeling about it? Amazing for special educators. Hollis, you went above and beyond. You went above and beyond for me. Teacher empowerment. Oh my gosh, I love that, Katie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, you guys are filling my heart with joy. I love it. All right. So we're feeling pretty good. If you have questions, I know I'm moving quickly. I know we're going through a lot of information. Throw those questions into the comments. We've got Vlad there, our co-founder, ready to respond. We'll also take some questions at the end if there's any we can't answer in the chat right now. So I'm loving it. I'm game changer, excellent resource. Y'all are just making me so happy right now. Let's take it to the next level. So I've shown you how you can create your readings and your resources that go with them. I've shown you how you can edit and adjust, whether you're adjusting the length, whether you just need to tweak a few sentences, add more vocabulary words, whether you want to add more questions. There's lots of ways you can customize it and really make it your own and make sure it's going to hit what you need to. Now, here's where you get it to your students. If you click right here with export, I'm going to fix my window just a little bit so it's not cut off for you. There we go. You have the option to print or save as a PDF, and this is going to give you just a very basic PDF. And I don't think this window will show because of the way that it's it's going right now. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. So I get to include what I want. So whether I want to include the summary, the short answer questions, key vocabulary, open-ended prompts, I can select what I want in that PDF or what I want it to print. And then I say open with Diffit, and it will give me this window here in order to print it or save it as a PDF. But we know a lot of you are using Google Classroom, Google Docs. We wanted to make it a little bit easier and also a little bit easier to customize once you're working in a different format to share it with your students. So we're going to say export to docs. And you now have the option of 3 different templates. You have the simple export, which I'll go ahead and open that one just to show you what it looks like. You have the option of a printable template and an option of a digital template. And the printable and digital are really the same, but here's our simple export. If you just want this on a Google Doc, so it's easier to customize, it's easier to share, you just need the reading, really straightforward here for you, so then you can turn it into whatever you want it to turn it into or share it with your students just like this. But if you want it to be a little bit more accessible to your students, that's where the templates come in. So I'm going to click export, export to docs. I'm going to go ahead and go with our printable template. I'm still going to include everything. I'm going to say open with Diffit. It's going to take it a second. I'll open my Google Doc. And then it's already put everything into this Google Doc for me that's formatted to be a little bit more user-friendly for students, a little bit more accessible. Now, it is still a Google Doc, so you can edit it, you can change it, you can rearrange things, you can delete things, you can still customize it and make it your own. But from here, this is pretty much ready to hand to students. It has all the vocabulary. Remember, we made a whole bunch of vocabulary words, so there's a lot here. Yours doesn't have to have this many. We've got our reading here. So here's our adapted reading for our students, the reading summary, and the multiple choice questions. And here's one of the reasons why we've got it on a Google Doc. Since we're using AI to create these readings, the size of the readings sometimes can vary, but it's really simple. You can just go right here, click enter a few times, get those multiple choice questions on a new page for students to be able to answer. Remember, I'd say made some extra ones so you can tweak it, you can change it, you can make it all fit however works best for you. Then we've got our short answer questions. This is the printable one, so it's got those guidelines for when they're writing. And those open-ended questions, same thing. It's got those guidelines, so if they're writing on paper, it's a little bit easier for them. Our digital template is pretty much the same, but without those guidelines. This one is set up for them to be able to type on Google Docs. So if you send it into Google Classroom as make a copy for each student, students can work on it right away. And yes, I see the comment about Microsoft districts. It's on our list. It is on our list. Let me go ahead and open up this Google Doc. And again, you'll see it looks pretty much the same information. But when we get to the questions down here, the spaces are set up so students can type in those boxes instead of those boxes being designed for them to handwrite in them. So that's the big difference between those 2 templates that we have. The next way you can export is to Google Forms. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and head over to my resources because we've been looking at this Declaration of Independence one for way too long. And I want you to also see where you can go once you're signed in to see resources you've previously created. So I'm going to head to my resources. I'm going to go ahead and get this one here. This is one of the science ones, the Scientific America article that we adapted previously. I'm going to add an image. Hi, Ryan. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to add an image. Now, I don't have an image that goes with this saved on my computer at the moment, so it's going to end up with a cupcake. Oh, no, it's going to end up with Legos. I selected the Lego one. It's going to end up with the Lego one. So we're going to go with this photo just so I can show you how to add a photo. So I'm going to remove that again and show you right up here, I can add a photo. And this comes in handy when you're doing the export. So I'm going to add an image. I'm going to add this Lego image. Of course, you would want to find an image that actually matches what's here. But we're going to go with our Lego bin here and say export, export to forms. And again, I can decide what I want to have. If I want to have the original text, so students are seeing the original text compared to the adapted text they can. If you want to include the image, not include the image. If we want to get rid of the vocabulary list, we can. For the sake of today, I want you to see how everything looks. So I'm going to include everything. But if you uncheck those boxes, you can customize it even more and make sure it's exactly what you need for your students. So I'm going to say open with Diffit. It's going to generate that Google form. And once we open this up, oh, it's going to give me a tour because I don't normally use this account. We can go through, there's the reading passage, the summary, the vocabulary words, and of course it's Google Forms still, so you can go through and you can make edits or changes if you want to make those bold and things like that. If you want to get rid of one of the vocabulary words, you can delete, you can edit, you can change. For all the question types, it does include instructions for students so they know how to engage with each type of question. So it reminds them to use the reading passage above to answer the questions, right? So as we go through here, short answer questions, reminds them there's that reading passage up above and they should be using it in their answers. And same with the open-ended prompts, reminds them, hey, there's a reading at the top. Make sure you take a look at that before you move forward answering these questions. And so this is ready to assign to students via Google Classroom or whatever LMS you're using. I know we already got the comment about from our Microsoft teachers, we're working on it. But right now, this is one of my favorite exports that we have for teachers. So before I show you more, because that was a lot to take in and we don't have that much time left, go ahead and tell me in the chat your favorite thing you've seen so far. So in the comments, what's your favorite thing you've seen so far? Looking at Diffit, is it the exports? Is it the questions? Is it the reading level? And of course, if you ask questions like Cami just asked a great question, we've got Vlad, our co-founder here, answering questions in the comments as well. But go ahead and tell me what's your favorite thing you've seen so far tonight as I take a drink of water. Share your favorite thing you've seen so far while I get our next thing set up. Thank you, Erin. Our exports and our edits, well, edit is and export are relatively new, so it's one of my favorite things too. I'm going to head to my resources and find us a new one. Actually, let's do history of cheese pizza. So favorite thing we've seen so far is the edit export ability and how easy it is. So I'm making a new one right now on the history of cheese pizza because yesterday was National Cheese Pizza Day. I don't know if you all knew that. Right? Today does not have a very good national holiday. I couldn't find it. I don't know what it is for today, but yesterday was National Cheese Pizza Day. If you did not celebrate, we're going to celebrate right now. So we've got our history of cheese pizza here. It has created a reading passage for us at 5th grade level. We can see those sources because this is using AI to create it, as opposed to when you give it the article or the PDF and it's adapting it to the grade level, right? So here we can see the sources it used, our summary, our vocab. This is one of my favorite things. I used to teach a world history class dedicated to newcomer English learners, and this is, to me, one of the game changers. I can create this Diffit resource set to share with my class, and then I can also translate it. So here I'm going to go ahead and make first of all, we've got all these languages. If there's a language you want, you don't see, please let us know. But we're going to go ahead and translate it into Spanish, and I'm going to click regenerate. And again, it's going to take it a minute because it's going to regenerate that in Spanish for us. I love this, the flexibility in every feature. Thank you, Carrie. Oh, Katie, that's so kind. The anything ability, right? The literally anything. I love it. It's thinking, it's translating, it's translating. Can it adapt? Someone said, can it adapt the reading level of a short story? Yes, it can adapt the reading level of a short story if you add the PDF or if you have the link to it, it will. All right, so here it has translated it for us, and it's translated all the resources as well. So if you're working with multilingual students, English learners, you can put these resources side by side for them. You can also if you're in a dual language program and you're trying to create those resources, we had a dual language program and our history teachers taught the entire world history course in Spanish. And this would make it a lot easier for them to adapt the curriculum we had in our team for their dual language class, right? So we can go here and we can still export this using all the exports. We can even share it. So if you're working on a team or with a professional learning network or a PLC group, you can copy this, you can send it to another teacher, and then they'll be able to save it to their own resources so they can adapt it and change it for their own classroom. And again, they would see that under my resources here. So I think Courtney, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. And yes, all the different languages. And again, if there's more languages you want to see, if there's one that's missing, please let us know. Our favorite thing in the whole wide world is teacher feedback and feedback from educators, so we can continue to make this even better. A lot of the features you guys are excited about are from teacher feedback. So one last time to make sure we've gone over it all, because I think I've covered everything. I'm going to look at my little list to make sure. But you can take a topic, a standard, a question, you put it into literally anything here, you tell it the grade level, and it will generate all those resources, the reading, the summary, vocab, and all those questions for you. And then you can export those however works best for you. You can give it a link to an article, and it's going to be able to adapt that to the reading level that you want, and then create those, again, summary, key questions, vocabulary, all that good stuff. So you're ready to use that for your classroom. And the last one here is where you can either copy paste the text in or upload that PDF, and it's going to be able to adapt that for you for your classroom, just like it would with that article or link. Your resources are all stored here under My Resources. And from there, you can open them up and you can edit them, change them, tweak them, share them, export them, make them perfect for the students that you're working with. I am pretty sure I've covered anything, unless Vlad, if there's something in the comment you want to add to the comments right now that I forgot to go over. You're hopping on. Did I forget anything?
Hi, everybody. No, Kathryn, you crushed it. I was literally just sitting here smiling and feeling grateful that you're on the team. So I think you really covered it. But I am happy to take other questions if folks have them.
Yeah, we've got a few minutes left, and welcome back, Erin. If anyone has any questions you want to throw in the comments, now is the time.
Well, people are throwing comments in. One of my favorite things is all the things you've already made. Like, as someone that likes to support teachers in my building and show them, I want you to highlight all the one-pagers you've taken the time to make, your Wakelet, all your Facebook group for anyone that wants to learn more. And I can get those links, but if you can talk them through, that would be amazing.
Yeah, let's start with our one-pager. So if you are ready to share this with a team of teachers and you're like, I don't know how to show them all the different things, we have this one-pager right here. It's a Google Doc, but it's sized for printing as well, in case you want to like throw them into people's mailboxes in the copy room, right? This right here, you can go, it will constantly add to it. So bookmark the link as we add new things. We'll add more arrows here. I don't know how we're going to add more arrows, but we'll find a way. But it goes through and kind of explains what all those features are, because there are so many different ways to customize and adapt it and make it your own. And we want to make sure that you see all those things. So this is our one pager. And then we also have a whole folder of content specific one pagers. So this one is harder for me to share, but if you can throw that one in the chat for me, that is a folder content specific. And that folder, again, especially if you're an instructional coach, bookmark that, because we're always adding more. I'm working on one for PE teachers right now. I've been looking at those standards across the United States to see how we can really make it work for those PE teachers, with SEL being a really common standard set for PE teachers these days. The other thing we have is our Wakelet, which I can move over. Let me grab this link over here. We have, every time someone posts on social media, which we are so grateful for because it gives us new ideas of how to make things better, we are adding their ideas here. So these are real teachers, real educators sharing how they are using it. And I like, one of my favorites was, let me see if it's on here. Today, this teacher, where are they? Hold on, I'm going to find them. This teacher here talked about how they used it to give their TA basically an answer key, so they could go in and give feedback on the book they were reading. They could ask the students the questions verbally and get that feedback from the students and see if they were on the right track with comprehension. Like, I never would have thought to use it that way. So I'm loving how teachers are sharing. This Wakelet has all that. We're always adding to it. If you have an idea and you're sharing it, or a way that your teachers are using it, tag us on Twitter. We'll add it here. We love hearing how people are using it. And then our last one is our Facebook group. And our Facebook group is a small but mighty community where we get lots of feedback. We often ask that group for beta testers when we're launching new features. And so all those links are now there for you in the comments. But I think that's it. I think those were all the resources, right? Erin, did I miss any? Was there one I needed to?
I'm going to throw one more in that you shared, and that's for coaches. So if you're trying to turnkey everything.
We've made you a professional development deck. Now, I love seeing what everyone else makes, but we have this professional development deck. Let me throw it back over onto the screen so you can see it, where it has everything. It has videos linked for you. This is another one where if you bookmark it, we're constantly updating it. It has all those one-pagers. It has our one-pager Diffit cheat sheet. And then it's really ready to go with an agenda and slides for you to present. If you're not sure, there's videos for almost everything. So it goes through and shows you that. So if you want to show the video, you can. If you want to lead it yourself, you can. This can be a starting point for you, or you can just roll with it. It is ready to go. And like I said at the end, let me head to the end. So it's got everything we talked about. But right here, classroom ideas and examples. As teachers are sharing those classroom ideas and examples, we're adding them to these slides by content area, by grade level as well.
That's awesome. And you mentioned that the ideas you get come from teachers using this. So if a teacher is using this, and I think it may have been Cami or someone in the chat that said Lexile, and that might be one you've heard before that you're working on. But what is the best way to contact you? Maybe it's Vlad that we contact, or whoever. How do we reach out if that's something we have?
That's a great question. How I carrier pigeon, whatever works for you. But on our website, web.diffit.me, there's a contact us form, so you can always throw whatever you've got there. In a couple of places on the product, you'll encounter links to a Google form, which is like, want us to build something, put it here. And then, of course, like Twitter, Facebook, really, I think we're building something for teachers, and the only way we're going to get that right is listening really closely to what teachers are asking for. So please keep it coming.
Yeah, thank you. And I felt like I really knew Diffit, and then you made so many changes and updates and enhanced it. I was like, oh my goodness, this training today is as much for me as everyone else, because you guys are so quick to make these changes. So I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time today, and everyone that's like made comments or suggestions even today. And yeah, Danita, I'm also doing a training on Diffit in a couple of weeks, and this deck, having this accessible to me is going to make a world of difference also. So I love it. So thank you guys so much. Thanks everyone for joining us. Please, if you have anyone that you would like to see this, redirect them to the YouTube channel where this will be housed, and they can come back and watch it anytime. So thank you, Kathryn. Thank you, Vlad. Oh, and Kathryn, can you show our last screen? So if you are excited about Diffit, I want you guys to know, not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, I'm excited to say that Stephanie Howe will be joining Kathryn for an app smash. So if you're familiar with Cami or want to learn more about Cami and how you can use Diffit with Cami, I think this is going to be such a natural combination of software and really enhance things for the classroom. So I'm so excited, Kathryn, that you'll be joining Stephanie to continue this conversation.
I am so excited for this one. And it's just going to take everything you learned today to the next level. And of course, if you have coworkers or colleagues who weren't able to see this, have them watch this video today and then come to the Cami and Diffit App Smash with Stephanie and I. I think it's going to be just game changing. I'm really excited.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. And thanks for joining us.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Erin.